What's up, everybody, and welcome to this week's Top 3. Today we're going to be taking a look at the recently released Orbit V8 playing cards and letting you know which of the three is our top pick. But before we jump into it, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
And please give the bell a ring.
And a huge shout out to this week's winning comment from 2355CW. Make sure to leave a comment down below and you may just get a shout out in next week's video. Dude, I gotta say, these Orbit V8 playing cards have been long awaited, and I am so pumped to check them out.
They are finally here, dude.
It feels like it's been forever, and I'll be honest, I know everyone's been waiting on these since like last November. So to see them finally drop, I feel like everyone's super pumped. I'm sure Chris is super happy that they're finally out and it's actually happening.
Yeah, I can't even imagine the amount of work that went into this release.
Dude, no doubt. And if you haven't checked out Orbit Jam 7 yet, guys, you need to go check it out. Absolutely amazing cinematography there. Chris is just a great filmmaker, and I know how much love and energy he puts into these Orbit Jams, so it's really cool to go check it out.
Yeah, and you can only have one or the other, either popcorn or a deck of cards while you're watching it, because you don't want to have both.
Yeah, you don't need those greasy cards, man. So, Steve, I am super pumped to check out this week's Orbit V8 Top 3, basically showdown here. You ready to jump into it, man?
I am, man. Let's see what's coming in at 3.
All right, so this week's number 3 is the Orbit V8 Standard Edition. This deck is part of an unspecified print run printed by USPCC on their premium crush stock, and one of the great parts of the Standard Edition is it's printed on the web press. This deck also retails for $13, so it's a great worker's deck for anyone looking for something as a good everyday carry. Let's
check it out.
Dude. I have to say, being a Mars-themed deck for the V8, they did a great job with the color scheme on this. You have a really simple matte tuck with a beautiful orange color that, while I'll say it probably doesn't exactly match the surface of Mars, is a pretty damn close effort there. Looks really cool and has a fun kind of view of looking up from the surface of Mars into space, which I really dig.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Love the fact that you see the back design on the tuck there, and one of the interesting things about it, and if you take a look there, you see that registration. Usually with the web press, you see much better registration on these cards. That doesn't seem to be the case with this deck, and maybe it's just a one-off here, but usually that's an issue with cutting on the sheet printed deck, so I'm curious to see if there's some issues coming out of USPCC on their web press too. Being a USPCC printed deck, fans and spreads like a dream. No surprise there. Premium crush stock, and the one cool thing is you get a lot more consistency across the print run with the web press, so these are going to feel great no matter whether you pick one up tomorrow or 6 months from now. You have really cool matching jokers there with the Mars rover on it, and then one of the things I always love about the Orbit is their Ace of Spades and how it really ties into the theme. Have a nice standard black color for the spades and the clubs suits here. And then the courts are still relatively standard, but there's a little bit of a customization to them with, you know, faces of Chris's friends and family on the deck. I also like that they pulled a lot of the standard colors out, and you really only have blue, black, orange, and white to really highlight those courts there and make them kind of pop a little bit differently.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Arco package too, as all the pips are kind of pulled from, you know, that Arco design.
But it looks really good, and they actually seem to have a little bit of a larger than standard central pip on all of the aces, which is always a big thing for me. Obviously, they're still standard shape for the Arco pips, but they look absolutely great. And I really love this sub-in of this orange for the red suits.
Yeah, I'm usually not a big fan of orange, but I love this muted orange.
Yeah, they did a good job with it. Then you also see that you have the double backer and the duplicate Ace of Spades there for all of the magicians out there. Dude, I just can't get over this deck design. They really did a great job with this. It came together nicely, and that fan is just sick.
Yeah, and also, you know, like in older Orbit editions, you do have kind of a one-way design that when you do riffle through it, the galaxy kind of moves, which is really cool.
You know, I really dig that, and obviously that makes it, you know, somewhat of a marked deck in the sense that you could probably figure out a suit and value assigned based on the position of the stars. I'd be curious to see if there is in fact a unique back design for all of the cards, or if it kind of cycles through maybe 10 different patterns and comes back. But very cool look to it, and I really love that moving galaxy feel.
Yeah, definitely cool.
So, dude, what's coming in at number 2 this week?
Number 2 is the Orbit V8P. It stands for Parallel Edition.
Nice.
This is also printed by USPCC on their premium crush stock. It retails for $15, and it's an unspecified print.
Nice, man. Let's check this out. I always love the Parallel Edition, and I really like what Chris has brought to the table with this second kind of deck in the series.
Yeah, standard tuck, that we usually see from Orbit. I really am a huge fan of navy blue. It's one of my favorite colors. And this kind of just puts in mind that what I would see maybe at night on Mars, the nice midnight color, being navy blue. It is a little dark, and at first it was hard to see, but, obviously tilting it in the right light, it really brings out that kind of cloudy, like gas atmosphere look in the middle central element.
Nice.
Yeah, and this one does have a little bit of movement on the back. Not really noticeable as much as, the standard, but, definitely has a little bit of movement and feels amazing. I love those little galaxies on the outside of the border.
Nice.
Here is your duplicate Jokers. Looks like some men, working on the surface of Mars.
Is that a dog in there too?
I didn't see it. It might be. I don't know. I mean, there's so many little hidden gems in this deck. It's pretty cool. And this having the same exact, face cards as the standard. I did notice that these court cards in this edition is a little bit more, it's a little lighter on the orange. And I don't know if that is just being printed on a different printer, not on the web press.
So that looks like standard red to me.
No, that as well. Yeah, good call.
Interesting.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and it's kind of a deviation there, but I guess from a parallel point of view, it makes a little bit of sense. Then obviously you have the double backer and the duplicate 8 there too.
Good catch. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, it really stood out because I think it contrasts so much differently than the orange on the standard edition that it really caught my eye, but I like it still. I don't necessarily know if I like that as much as the standard, but the back design on this one is just a home run in my book.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of navy blue. Definitely pick that over orange any day,
Yeah, I do wish they had brought the stars a little bit crisper there, so there was a little more contrast, but like you said, with the idea of it potentially being Mars at night, it makes sense that it's very subdued, but really still a great looking back design to it, and a really great addition to the Parallel Edition line so far.
Yeah, I agree.
So, man,
you ready to unleash number 1, the unexpected number 1?
I think so, man. I have to say, I did not expect this at all until it was dropped, and it's funny because looking back, I think Chris dropped a lot of hints about it. I think anyone who is really looking back now is damn, I knew this was coming, And I think they did a great job with it. So coming in at the number 1 spot this week, we have the Orbit V8 Aesop Rock Edition. Dude, this thing is printed by USPCC on their premium crush stock. It is part of an unspecified print run, and it's a collab with Aesop Rock, coming in at $17. Dude, this thing is absolutely beautiful. Let's check it out. Love the artwork on the tuck here. I think it's so vibrant considering what we expect from a very minimalist Orbit style. The back design and tuck design are both basically the artwork from Koro from Aesop Rock's Spirit World Field Guide album. So for any Aesop Rock fans out there, you may be wondering why this seems so familiar. That's why. But look at this, man. This is just vibrant. This is some next level stuff. Obviously doesn't tie into the theme of the Mars kind of V8 vibe that we get from the standard and the Parallel Edition, but really is a next level Orbit all around. Love the look.
Yeah, I love that skull sucking in that deer.
Dude, just the colors on it. It's so like bright. Reminds me of neon lights almost. And look at those fanning elements. Like that just looks like a neon lightning bolt like running through your entire fan there. Being Oh, dude, look at this. You got triptych ad cards here, which I think is just amazing.
Yeah, it took me a second to try to line it up.
Dude, I mean, I get it. It's tough enough to juggle, you know, diptych cards. So a triptych here, that looks so sick. And just the artwork on this is so intense and so bright and so colorful. Even though it's obviously a night kind of theme, you have a different Ace of Spades here as well to go more so with the Aesop Rock collab versus the V8 standard line there. And then across the deck, you have relatively standard courts again, looking at pretty much the same court cards and numbers for the parallel edition where you have that return to red. But now in the red courts, you actually have a replacement with the orange or red, which I think is really interesting and actually ties in a little bit better. I think all things considered, like, this may be my favorite deck just on every single element they hit. The red on red looks great. The standard courts across the board with a little bit of customization, not bad at all. The double backer there looks awesome, but the artwork really just pops so nicely.
Yeah, Koro's an amazing artist, and it's really cool to see. I mean, it's cool to see any artwork kind of brought into a deck, but when you see artwork from a known artist who's done work before on something and kind of integrated into a cards, it's really cool.
Dude, something about this reminds me of something you'd see in like the beginning of a werewolf movie. It's got that like full moon there. I absolutely love it, but I really do love the fact that this probably was not only an awesome collab for Chris to have, but I know Chris really loves Aesop Rock. So for him to have that opportunity to collaborate with someone he idolizes is such a cool experience, but then to turn it into just a dope deck of cards as well. Like, I'm not surprised by that at all because what Chris puts out is always dope products, but this is next level, man.
Yeah, I mean, he must have been like really floored just linking up with, you know, Aesop Rock and making that happen. And, you know, huge thanks to Chris Orbit for sending these decks for this video. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it means a lot to us, and we were so glad to be able to check these out. I really hope that this third deck becomes a standard thing and we see collabs for the V9s and V10s in the future, because I think it just brings a nice little bit of visibility to such a great brand that has such awesome, consistent, but fun styling to it.
Yeah, and you'll be able to get the decks for a while.
Yeah, which is always great because Chris really does do high print runs to make sure that everyone can get their hands on them. So guys, let us know in the comments what your favorite deck out of the 3 new V8 releases were. We're always interested to hear whether you like the Aesop Rock Edition or the Parallel Edition or even the Standard Edition. Ultimately, I don't think there's a wrong answer for them. They were all spectacular and much worth the wait. But while you're at it, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and tune in next week to see who wins the shout out of the week and what decks are going to be the top 3.
Pick up your Orbit.